It was March of 2020, and I was sitting in my Brooklyn apartment watching the whole world fall apart. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, COVID, my students on Zoom screens looking disengaged and disconnected. One night, as I was sitting on my couch, I was talking to God, and I was asking, what am I doing? What am I actually building that is doing something? 2 years later, I left my job in Brooklyn, and I moved back home to Georgia, back to my childhood bedroom, back to start a school. People ask me, why you? Why now? Why here? And honestly, I didn't have any good answers. I just knew, if not me, then who? If not here, then where? If not now, then when? What I didn't know is that I was asking all of the wrong questions. I was asking, how do I build this instead of who's already building? I was asking, what do they need instead of what do they already know? Here's the truth I need you to leave with today. Communities that we call underserved aren't lacking anything. And the blueprint for breakthrough innovation is already there. We just have to stop talking long enough to hear it. I was a high-performing dean of students. I had all the credentials: Spelman College, Teachers College, Columbia University. I knew how to speak to funders and donors. I thought I knew what communities needed until I moved back to Georgia. I assembled a community co-design team full of great people who stayed up late at night on Zoom with me to dream of a school. After they took care of their families, their homes, their loved ones, and we dreamed of a school for Black and brown children where they didn't just survive, they thrived. Where entrepreneurship wasn't just a buzzword, but a legacy. Where Ubuntu, an African philosophy meaning I am because we are, wasn't just words, but practice. In the summer of 2023, we held our first summer camp. We didn't have any money. I spent all of my money on our supplies and hoped for the best. That's when I met Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson was a grandmother taking care of her grandmother who lived in Douglasville for over 43 years. She walked in suspicious but hopeful. I handed her our materials. She read them and she looked at me over her glasses and she said, "This is nice, but this makes us sound broken. We're not underserved, we're under-listened to." For years, I've been using words like at-risk, marginalized, remediation, underserved, all coded language that says our kids are behind and we need to fix them. But what Ms. Johnson was saying is that our kids are not behind. We haven't been listening. So here's your first takeaway. Before you label a community as underserved, ask yourself, are they really lacking resources, or have you just not created a pathway to hear what they know? Because when we flip that question, we stop walking into communities as experts with solutions, but as learners with questions. How many Ms. Johnsons are standing right in front of us? How many communities have we labeled as broken who we haven't asked what they survived, what they built, what they know? So I started listening, really listening. And that's when I met Ms. Keisha. She has a son named Marcus, and he's brilliant with his hands. He's taken a computer from scratch and built it to fully functional, all through watching a YouTube video. But Marcus says school makes him feel stupid. And Ms. Keisha asked me, why does everything have to be on paper? The system was failing Marcus. Marcus was not failing the system. Or Amara, a brilliant 7th grader who looked me dead in my eye and asked me, "Miss Nandi, why are my teachers telling me that if I do good, I can get out of here? If I work hard, I can leave this town? What if I don't want to leave? What if I want to stay here?" That question sat me back. Because oftentimes, academic success looks like exodus. We equipped our students with tools and resources to not transform their communities, but to leave their communities. So here's your second takeaway. The people closest to the problem are the people closest to the solution. Over 2 summers, 2023 and 2024, while the world argued what we teach in classrooms and politicians used schools like ours as political weapons, we listened. Over 18 months, 100 community meetings and over 1,000 stakeholders, we listened. And the community taught us something that no textbook ever could. They wanted us to stop saving their children, and they wanted us to see their children. They wanted us to respect their wisdom and to build with them and not for them. So the blueprint was already theirs. It was in Miss Johnson's question, in Miss Keisha's heartbreak, and in Amara's hope. I just had to humble myself long enough to listen. So we rebuilt everything. When Ms. Keisha told us about Marcus needing to use his hands, we rebuilt his assessment system so students can show mastery through projects. When Amara told us that she wanted to stay in her community to transform it, we rebuilt our entrepreneurship pathway so that it focused on community transformation rather than individual escape. When our families felt locked out of education, we opened everything for them. We gave them access to our online platforms, our curriculum, and our classrooms, complete transparency. So here's your third takeaway. Co-created solutions aren't just more equitable, they're more effective and sustainable. And I can prove it. We opened our doors in fall of 2025 with 85 students. Our attendance rate, 95%. Our academic success, 20 to 30% gains in math and reading. And this is not because I'm a genius. This is because the school was built to fit the community. When students attend schools that fit them, they thrive. When families invest because they see themselves represented, they thrive. When communities protect what they build, they thrive. So I'm standing here in March of 2026. We opened our doors in August of 2025, and we're making it. Not because I have all of the answers, but because I stopped pretending that I did. The blueprint was theirs. Now it's your turn. Thank you.